Vision is not sight, it's imagination. Sight is limited to what your eyes can see in the present moment, but vision belongs to the heart and mind. It stretches beyond the horizon of your circumstances. When you rely only on sight, you measure your possibilities by your current situation, your income, your skills, and your environment. But when you activate vision, you tap into the unseen potential that lies ahead of you, waiting to be shaped. The difference between the average and the extraordinary is not in their eyes, but in their vision. Your sight might tell you that you are stuck, that there is no way forward, that the mountain ahead is too tall. But vision whispers back, keep climbing. There is more beyond what you can see. Sight keeps you anchored to the facts of today, while vision opens the doors to the possibilities of tomorrow. A person with vision doesn't need all the answers. They need courage to keep moving because they see something greater than their current reality. That's why people who have vision lead, and those who only depend on sight tend to follow. Think about the great innovators, leaders, and achievers. They were not guided by what was in front of them. They were guided by what they imagined. When Thomas Edison failed thousands of times while trying to invent the light bulb, his sight might have shown him only repeated failure, but his vision kept telling him there was a way. His imagination created a picture of what did not yet exist, and that picture pulled him through the dark hours of frustration. Sight shows failure, but vision shows the opportunity hidden inside failure. Many people give up because they confuse sight with vision. They think that what they see is all there is. They look at their bank account and assume that's their worth. They look at their current skill set and assume that's their limit. They look at their environment and assume that's their destiny. But vision teaches you to see beyond. It teaches you to believe in a version of yourself that is still under construction. Vision is like planting a seed. The soil looks empty at first, but inside that small seed is a tree waiting to grow. Sight sees the seed as small and insignificant, but vision sees the harvest before it happens. When you live by sight alone, fear becomes your master. You hesitate, you shrink, you hold back because you only see what can go wrong. But when you live by vision, faith takes the lead. You step forward, not because you see the full staircase, but because you trust the first step. Vision turns doubt into fuel and problems into opportunities. Without vision, the limits of sight will trap you. With vision, those same limits become the very reason you rise higher. It is also important to understand that vision is not daydreaming. Vision is imagination with direction, imagination with discipline, imagination that takes shape in action. A dreamer may imagine something beautiful but never act, while a visionary combines imagination with determination. Sight alone may tell you, I cannot, but vision says, not yet, but I will. It pushes you to learn, to adapt, to grow, and to keep pressing forward. At the end of the day, sight is a tool, but vision is the compass. Sight helps you navigate the present, but vision shows you the future worth fighting for. Your life will always follow the size of your vision. If you only see what is, you will remain where you are. But if you imagine what could be and believe in it strongly enough, you will stretch beyond every limit that sight tries to impose. Remember, success is never built on what the eyes can see, but on what the mind dares to imagine. Limits are real, but not final. Every person who has ever pursued growth has faced the boundaries of their circumstances. Some limits are physical, some are financial, some are emotional, and some are simply the voices of others telling you what you can't do. It would be naive to say that limits don't exist, because they do. But it would also be tragic to believe that limits are permanent. What makes the difference between people who live extraordinary lives and those who settle for less is the way they respond to the reality of limits. For one person, a limit becomes a wall. For another, it becomes a challenge, a teacher, even a stepping stone. Life will always remind you of your limits. You may not have enough resources, you may lack the skill, or the timing may feel off. The question is not whether you face limits, but what you do when they show up. Some people stop at the first sign of resistance. They say, "This is as far as I can go." They let the barrier define the border of their potential. But others recognize that while limits exist, they are not final destinations. They are temporary markers on the road to progress. A limit is only as strong as the belief you attach to it. If you accept it as unchangeable, you remain trapped. If you see it as something to be worked around, outgrown, or overcome, it loses its power. Every breakthrough in history came because someone refused to accept a limit as the final word. The Wright brothers had no wings and no engines powerful enough to prove that humans could fly, but they refused to believe that gravity was the ultimate barrier. Thomas Edison failed hundreds of times in search of the right filament for the light bulb, but he refused to let failure be a limit. These stories remind us that what we call limits are often beginnings of discovery. They force us to think differently, to grow stronger, and to search deeper within ourselves for solutions we never knew we had. Limits test our commitment. It is easy to be enthusiastic when everything is going smoothly, but when the ceiling feels low and progress feels slow, that's when vision and discipline are truly tested. Most people stop when it gets hard, not realizing that the limit was never meant to stop them, but to stretch them. A weight in the gym limits how much you can lift today, but if you keep lifting, that limit expands tomorrow. Life works the same way. What you cannot do today doesn't mean you cannot do it ever. It only means you must grow into the strength, knowledge, and resilience that will allow you to overcome it. There's a powerful shift that happens when you begin to view limits as temporary. You stop being a prisoner of your current reality and become a student of growth. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I can't yet. That small word, yet, turns impossibility into potential. It keeps hope alive. It builds patience. It reminds you that time and persistence are often the tools that dismantle the biggest barriers. Limits also refine your vision. If everything were easy and instantly available, vision would lose its meaning. The obstacles you face force you to get clear about why you want something and how much you are willing to pay for it in effort, sacrifice, and persistence. Many people want success, but only a few want it badly enough to face their limits head on. It is in that confrontation that true character is developed. So the next time you meet a limit, don't treat it like a prison sentence. Treat it like a test, a challenge, a temporary line waiting to be crossed. Remind yourself that limits are real, but they are not final. They are here to make you grow, to sharpen your vision, and to prepare you for the next level. The greatest victories are reserved for those who refuse to let limits decide their future. Life has ceilings, but every ceiling can be raised if your determination is strong enough. The world belongs to those who understand that while limits may appear real today, tomorrow they can be broken. Small vision keeps you stuck. It holds you in the same place year after year because it never demands more of you. If the only thing you ever dream about is surviving until Friday or paying the next bill, then that's exactly the level you'll live at. A small vision is like a small box. You can walk around inside of it, but no matter how hard you try, you won't escape it unless you think beyond it. The danger of a small vision is that it feels safe. It doesn't stretch you. It doesn't scare you. It doesn't demand growth. And because it feels comfortable, you begin to mistake comfort for progress. But the truth is, nothing great was ever born out of comfort. Greatness is born out of stretching, striving, and reaching for something bigger than what you can currently hold. When your vision is small, every problem looks big. A flat tire becomes a crisis. A small rejection feels like the end. One door closing makes you believe there are no more doors left to open. But when your vision is big, those same problems shrink. You start to realize that a rejection is not the end of your dream, just a redirection. You see that a setback is not a wall, but a lesson that strengthens you for the next stage. A big vision makes small problems powerless. Think of it this way: if your dream is to earn just enough to get by, then every unexpected bill will crush your spirit. But if your dream is to build wealth, to create abundance, to multiply opportunities, then a single bill is only a drop in the ocean of your potential. The size of your vision determines how much weight you can carry in life. The people who change the world are not the ones with small visions. They are the ones who looked beyond their current limits. They didn't ask, "What can I afford today?" They asked, "What could I build tomorrow if I refuse to quit today?" They didn't measure themselves by what was in their hands, but by what was possible if they kept going. A small vision traps you in cycles. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, and you repeat. But a larger vision breaks that cycle and introduces purpose into the routine. When you have a bigger picture, even ordinary tasks take on meaning. Work becomes more than a paycheck, it becomes training ground. Struggles become more than inconveniences, they become preparation. Your life begins to expand because your vision gives every step value, so if you feel stuck, it's not because life has stopped moving. It's because your vision has stopped growing. You must ask yourself, what would I attempt if I knew I couldn't fail? What could I do if I stopped measuring myself by my limits and started measuring myself by my potential? Your answer to that question will reveal whether your vision is big enough to pull you forward. Remember, this life is not generous to the small-minded. It does not reward the timid dreamer who plays safe in the shadows. Life bends and yields to those who dare to see beyond their limits, to those who believe in possibilities so large they cannot be contained in the present. If your vision is small, you'll remain where you are. But if your vision is bold, you'll find that limits begin to dissolve the moment you decide to move beyond them. Small vision keeps you stuck, but great vision sets you free. The choice is yours. Will you stay in the box of comfort, or will you step into the arena of possibility? A larger vision stretches you in ways you could never imagine. Life has a way of keeping us comfortable, keeping us inside routines and surrounding us with limits that feel like walls. But the truth is, most of the walls you think are holding you back are not made of stone. They are made of small vision. When you dream too small, you settle for what is easy. You accept only what your eyes can see and your hands can touch. But when your vision is bigger, when it pulls you beyond your limits, suddenly comfort is no longer enough. You begin to feel a hunger to become more, to do more, to experience more. That hunger is the stretch. A small vision never requires you to grow. It lets you stay the same. It asks for no courage, no sacrifice, no risk. But a larger vision asks for your best. It demands your creativity, your persistence, your ability to stand up after failure and try again. Think of it this way: if your vision doesn't scare you a little, it's probably not big enough, because a real vision forces you to grow into the person capable of achieving it. And that growth is the real reward. When you set a vision that is larger than your limits, you are saying to yourself, I will not be confined by today's circumstances. Maybe today you lack money, maybe you lack skills, maybe you lack support. But when your vision is greater, those limits become temporary. A larger vision teaches you resourcefulness. It makes you ask better questions, seek new knowledge, and develop resilience you didn't know you had. Without a bigger dream, you would never dig that deep. Think about how muscles grow. They grow only when they are stretched, tested, and sometimes even torn. Growth never comes from ease. In the same way, your character, your wisdom, your capacity to succeed only grow when your vision demands more than you currently have. You stretch yourself by chasing something beyond your reach, and in the process, you expand your reach. The stretch might be uncomfortable, it might hurt, but it is shaping you into someone far stronger than the person who started the journey. A larger vision also protects you from discouragement. When the vision is small, any obstacle looks big. A single setback can feel like the end. But when your vision is massive, setbacks look small in comparison. If your dream is to climb the tallest mountain, a hill on the way does not frighten you. If your dream is to change lives, a single rejection cannot stop you. The size of your vision determines the size of your resilience. And here's the secret: the larger your vision, the more people it will touch. Big visions always go beyond personal success. They inspire others. They create opportunities. They open doors for people who never thought it was possible. By stretching yourself, you give permission for others to stretch too. You become proof that limits are not permanent, and that belief is contagious. So don't settle for a vision that only fits inside your current life. Don't dream only as far as your resources or circumstances allow. Set a vision that makes you a little uneasy, one that forces you to learn, to grow, to persist. Because the goal is not just to achieve something, it's to become someone greater in the process. A larger vision stretches you, and in that stretch lies the life you were meant to live. Obstacles shrink in the presence of vision. It may sound like a simple phrase, but it holds the secret to how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. When you focus on the obstacle, it looks massive. It looks permanent. It looks immovable. But when you focus on the vision, the obstacle begins to lose its size and its power. The same mountain that once seemed impossible becomes a hill you can climb because the strength of your vision makes the challenge appear small in comparison. Most people live life staring at their obstacles. They see the lack of money, the lack of education, the lack of time, the lack of opportunity, and they stop right there. They let what is missing in their hand rob them of what is waiting in their future. But those who succeed have learned to lift their eyes from the wall in front of them and fix them on the picture of where they want to go. When your mind is consumed with the picture of your destination, the barriers along the way no longer look like roadblocks. They look like part of the process. Vision gives you perspective. Imagine looking at a small pebble held right up to your eye. It looks enormous, blocking your view of everything else. But place that same pebble on the ground and step back a few feet, and suddenly it looks small, almost insignificant. The pebble never changed in size, but your perspective did. That is what vision does. It changes how you see the very same obstacle. To the person without vision, every difficulty is overwhelming. To the person with vision, every difficulty is temporary. Every problem is solvable, and every setback is just part of the journey forward. The truth is, obstacles are not as big as we make them. It is our lack of vision that magnifies them. Without vision, a single failure feels like the end of the road. But with vision, failure is just feedback. Without vision, rejection feels like a personal wound. But with vision, rejection is a redirection to something better. Without vision, hardship feels like punishment. But with vision, hardship is training for the strength you will need in the future. Vision doesn't erase obstacles. It transforms how you respond to them. The greater your vision, the smaller your obstacles appear. Think about the stories of great achievers. They faced rejection, poverty, criticism, and setbacks. But their vision was so strong that they simply refused to quit. The vision inside them was larger than the pressure outside them. When you carry that kind of vision, no obstacle has the power to stop you. It may slow you down, it may test you, but it cannot break you. That's why it is dangerous to live without a clear vision. Without it, you will spend your life wrestling with problems that keep you in the same place. But with vision, problems are not anchors, they are stepping stones. They are not chains. They are chisels that shape you into the person your destiny requires you to be. Every difficulty becomes fuel for your growth because the vision makes it worthwhile. So don't let the obstacle dominate your mind. Feed your vision until it grows so large, so compelling, that nothing can stand in its way. Write it down, see it every day, and speak it with conviction. Because the day your vision becomes bigger than your obstacle, that is the day your obstacle loses its power. Obstacles shrink in the presence of vision. That is not just a motivational line, it is a law of life. What you focus on expands, and what you believe in shapes your reality. Focus on the obstacle, and it will look impossible. Focus on the vision, and it will make the impossible possible. Vision is destiny-driven. It is not a picture of what you currently have, but a blueprint of what you are called to build. Too many people make the mistake of confusing vision with daydreams. Daydreams are comfortable and require no action. Vision, on the other hand, carries weight. It comes with responsibility. It whispers to you about who you could be, and it pulls you forward, often beyond the limits of what you think you can handle. That is why vision is powerful. It is tied to your destiny, not your comfort zone. When you live without vision, you end up trapped in the routine of life. You settle for what is easy, what is familiar, what is safe. But life was never designed to reward safety. It was designed to reward growth. Destiny is not about standing still. Destiny is about becoming, about unfolding the layers of potential inside you. And vision is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to be. If vision is destiny-driven, then you must understand this. It will not always make sense in the present. Vision doesn't measure where you are. It measures where you are going. Right now, your bank account, your education, or your environment might scream impossible. But destiny does not consult your present condition before deciding your future. Vision is a seed planted in the soil of destiny, waiting for you to water it with action, persistence, and faith. Think about every person who ever achieved something great. They did not start with unlimited resources, unlimited time, or unlimited opportunities. What they started with was vision. Vision gave them courage when the world said, "It can't be done." Vision gave them endurance when setbacks came. Vision gave them hope when there was no evidence of success. That's what it means to be destiny-driven. You are no longer living for today's convenience. You are living for tomorrow's calling. A vision tied to destiny will also demand growth. It will stretch you in ways you may not be ready for. It will ask you to read the books, meet the mentors, sharpen your discipline, and say no to shortcuts. You can't live a small life when you carry a big vision. Destiny-driven vision is not polite. It will disrupt your habits, challenge your excuses, and force you to leave behind the crowd that is content with mediocrity. It will separate you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You must also remember that vision is not given to you just for yourself. A destiny-driven vision always impacts others. Your growth becomes an example. Your success becomes an inspiration, and your journey becomes a roadmap. The higher you rise, the more people see that their own limits can be broken too. Vision creates ripple effects that go far beyond your own life. But here's the challenge: vision without action is nothing more than imagination. If you believe your vision is tied to destiny, then you must act as if it is non-negotiable. Treat it as something you cannot quit on, no matter how heavy the burden feels. The test of destiny is persistence. When the door is closed, vision teaches you to knock again. When the road is blocked, vision shows you how to build another path. So decide today that your vision will not be dictated by the limits in front of you. See beyond your circumstances. Believe beyond your resources. Act beyond your fears. Vision is destiny-driven, and destiny will not wait forever. It is calling you now, asking you to step forward, to grow, to push past the limits and embrace the life you were designed to live. Your vision decides your future. It is the single most powerful force that directs the course of your life. What you see in your mind, what you believe is possible for yourself, sets the ceiling for what you will pursue and ultimately achieve. People without vision live day to day, pushed around by circumstances, chained by their limits, waiting for life to give them direction. But those with vision live with clarity, purpose, and energy, because they have already decided where they are going before they even start the journey. Vision is not just about dreams, it is about direction. It is the compass that guides your decisions, the fuel that keeps you moving when the path is uphill, and the anchor that keeps you steady when the winds of doubt blow against you. Without vision, you may work hard, but you will wander. Without vision, you may achieve things, but they won't satisfy you. Vision sharpens your effort, multiplies your motivation, and transforms obstacles into opportunities. When your vision is clear and compelling, nothing can stop a determined soul. Your vision must be larger than your limits. Limits are real, but they are not permanent. They are starting points, not final destinations. Your vision, however, must point you beyond them. A person who only focuses on limits will spend their life shrinking their goals to fit their current reality. A person with vision expands their mindset, and works to grow until their reality catches up with their dream. The future always belongs to those who see further than others, who believe deeper than others, and who dare bigger than others. Think about the difference between someone who only sees problems and someone who sees possibility. The problem-focused person says, "I don't have enough money, I don't have enough education, I don't have enough support." The vision-driven person says, "This is where I am, but this is not where I'm staying. I will find a way, I will learn what I need, I will attract the people who believe in the dream." The first person is chained to the present. The second person is pulled into the future. Your future is not written by chance, it is written by vision. Every great achievement started in someone's mind before it became reality. Airplanes existed in the vision of the Wright brothers long before they lifted off the ground. Electric light existed in the vision of Edison long before it brightened the world. Progress belongs to those who see the invisible, believe the impossible, and act on the improbable. Your vision is the script for your life. Write it boldly, live it faithfully, and protect it passionately. But vision does more than inspire you. It transforms you. A strong vision forces you to grow into the person who can carry it out. If your vision is to lead, you must become disciplined. If your vision is to create wealth, you must become wise with resources. If your vision is to make an impact, you must develop character and resilience. Vision stretches you beyond comfort and turns you into the kind of person your future demands. Without vision, life will shrink you. With vision, life will expand you. Never forget, your vision decides your future. If you keep it small, your life will stay small. If you dare to enlarge it, your life will expand in ways you never imagined. The size of your vision will determine the size of your destiny. Don't let today's limits dictate tomorrow's possibilities. Decide today to build a vision bigger than your fears, stronger than your excuses, and larger than your limits. Because the clearer your vision, the greater your future.